rudimentary occlusion shading pass. I'm not going to get too... Oh, sorry, I have to sneeze. Not going to get too involved, but places where light might theoretically be blocked, even if it's not necessarily ultimately accurate, just to bring it into coherence with all the other layers that had this specialty layer. I don't know. Basically, if I don't do this, it'll be inconsistent with the rest of the whole, and it needs to be. So we're gonna do it. But like logically, there are some areas where, despite there being light everywhere, light just is gonna have a problem getting in there, like behind this sort of weird hood. Especially low to the body, where the body's practically gripping the ground. In the crevice of this elbow. And yeah, in a minute, we're going to turn the light back on and see that there's lava underlighting it, and half the work we did needs to get thrown away, and that's okay. It's a quick little fun exercise. We need to do it just to do it. We're not necessarily looking for realism. It's more of a cinematic realism, like in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and they are, seeing these crazy rituals in this cave-like labyrinth. It's like a dark, dingy cave. It looks like it, and yet we see everything, and there's light everywhere. I went to Disneyland not long ago, and it was very interesting to study the light, especially at night. People know what they're doing. That's about it here. Yeah. Just somehow making everything looking good. It's like, oh, it's a bush. Well, they don't want you wandering into bushes, so it's lit, but they also don't want you paying attention to the bush, so they light it with a special light that lets you see it, but all you can really see is that it's there and it looks good. They direct your eye instead to the popcorn stand right next to it, or the merchandise available nearby. Okay, so this is basically what I was talking about. You can kind of just get a sense of, okay, a little bit of shading going on. Okay, that's the occlusion shading. We also need a sort of compositional shading, or design shading is what I call it. But the And that's even more optional, but essentially I want to control as much as I can where the eye is finding its most interesting things to look at. And so this is it, basically. There you go. What is this weird line? Wow, you see that? No idea. Hold on. There's supposed to be a command to just turn everything on. But I don't understand why it's not working. Maybe because there's a lock? That's weird. Oh. Okay, well, I hate this program, but probably faster by now just to turn all these dumb things one by one. Can I do this? Yes, okay. Okay. So that is kind of the idea. Okay, glad to have that together. And now I have to think a little bit about what do I want? I want to have... Maybe I can just draw it quickly, like that little dragon thing. Wow, come on. Okay. Having some weird issues with my keyboard commands. So, that's not fun. Alright, well. Kingdom. The idea is that that thing up in the sky is a dragon. Four dragons. Dinral, Farosh, Nidra, and Light Dragon. Zelda, Lava Dragon. Let's see if there is one. Volvasia. It was an ancient wingless fire-breathing dragon. Interesting. Subterranean lava dragon. Interesting. Okay, maybe not a lava dragon, then it's Dragon Death Mountain. Dinral flies around the outer areas of Death Mountain. Cool. There we go. Alright, well this looks cool. Ugh, looks like it glows though. Hey Sextra, good morning. I'm toying with the idea of, not really toying with it, it's sort of been the plan to bring in the there's a bit of a lava, no, that's not the lava dragon, but there's a dragon that circles around Death Mountain. I had an inkling that it does, and so it's a good character to have up here. But now I'm realizing it's like, oh, I should actually draw it. Sort of looks tricky. I didn't play this Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild. I mean, it looks cool. What is this? That looks cool. Who did this? That's nice. Very cool. All right, let's try. Let's try to do better. Actually, this is kind of helpful. Drawing early in the morning. Not always fun. I'll give it a shot. Let's see if I can remember to use the same tool. Wow, that's the brush. Jesus. We're gonna have to go a little bit smaller. This is the perils of working at I don't know. It's like low resolution. It's high resolution, but it's like low res because there's so much going on. Probably something like that. Sort of big poofy dragon snakes. Looks like their tails have some interest on them. What worries me is that this dragon apparently is glowing, which is a little bit imperfect for my purposes. Doesn't need to glow. Yeah, I don't want it to be like this bright thing in the sky. I won't make it bright, but I was hoping it could go away, or sort of like more or less recede from the eye like an Easter egg. And I'll just have to control for that, but that's okay. Looking at it now, even compared to the picture, I think I have the head just a little bit too big. proportions matter. Alright, yeah, go do your thing. No worries. Little claws. Sort of Tyrannosaurus. Arms and legs. Okay. One of the reasons this toy here is a helpful reference is for the colors. Like in all these other references, the colors are sort of like treated with like atmosphere and making it look a certain way. We really just want to get to the access these colors. They may not be like canon, you know, they're probably made by like a fan making like fan art, fan 3D printout, but that's okay. That's okay for our purposes. Load this up in here. Computer is not a fan of the new open file. Let's sample some colors and then get out. Apparently there's a glowing red belly. Feels like that hits pretty well. Now let's make sure. We've got this fun glowy, yellowy underside, but we want it to twist and move, so we only see it in certain areas. That should be cool if I handle it right. Well, I can always delete it, I guess. If I can handle the power. That didn't turn out that bad at all. Okay. Delete this. And now it looks like it's glowing, so let's fix that. Pull it into Photoshop. We'll give it a darkening treatment. And I need to find out how to... Oh my god. Why? Why did I do that? Here, do not save. Do not save. Holy shit. Oh. you bastard. How does that happen? All I did was open it. Ugh. Well, it's not the end of the world, but basically, yet another bug in Painter that has never been fixed is Photoshop files that are saved. Basically, folders are not saved, even though the files are compatible. So basically, the groups get ungrouped. And so we just have this lovely... nested groups get ungrouped. So, because all these were in a big folder, now they're all spilled out. And that's okay, because I labeled them all. It's fine. The order still makes sense. It's not the end of the world. It's probably easier in some ways, but not what I wanted. Okay, well, another reason to chuck this program next chance to get. Okay, we take the same as we did everything else. We take the levels down. The 90 has always been where I took things. So now it looks like it's in the dark, which is good. It only gets to be as bright as we allow it. Went out of Photoshop, come on back in. Something like this might be better. Ultimately, we need to throw a bunch of fun atmosphere in front of it. What would happen if I just lit up those lines a little bit? That doesn't look half bad. A little too saturated. Okay, I think that's fine for now. We'll throw a bunch of atmosphere in front of it, and we'll feel the need to correct beyond that. Okay, I'm in the mood to tackle and fix some of the serious issues that are happening in the lava now. This is such a complicated piece. But we really are kind of getting close now. Yeah. Okay. And it's already looking really good. We just need to fix the lava and the seams in the lava. Closest lava. Don't really have a perfect strategy for this other than to, I think, attempt to draw what could be like a boundary. Feels like it could hold back the lava a little bit on this side. It's like a paint in. Very close to the lava. Put some of that effect on it. dangerous to leave it in the hands of the color picker, but here we go. I think if I'm lucky today, I'll be able to finish this. Just adding a little bit of light where it's being touched by the lava makes a big difference. Then definitely need to make sure it's sort of implied that that light relationship is continuing inside of here, and in fact light is getting trapped. It might even get brighter. It's complex. I was doing the this whatever it is for the so I'm making a process video, like a real video for this one. Because I gathered all the VODs and it was something like whatever 11 hours. Like if I cut out all the time that I'm talking, like right now I'm talking, if you cut out all the time that I'm talking and not actually drawing, the whole vid is like 11 hours, but you can of course fast forward it, so it's like, as everybody does, and it's like a speed paint or whatever, right? I'm trying to write a little script for it. It's like, oh, just write the script, whatever. The process is simple, right? Yeah. It's like, no. It's just funny. It's like, oh, how hard could it be? And I'm like, damn, this is taking a long time. Yeah. Already feeling good about the progress so far today. Something that's kind of bugging me is the Tektite 3 Lava Glow. I feel like this glow is too bright. I don't want it to be too orangey. But I don't want there to be it's tricky because the lava in some areas is like a dominant source of light. So, but in some areas it's not. So it's a little tricky because in some areas I want it to be like the brightest thing, and in some areas I don't. If I can, I want to keep it consistent, but I don't know if I can. Like probably in the end, this highlighted reflection off the sword and like whatever is happening in this little fun triangle of dynamism should be the brightest stuff. So as long as everything is sort of subordinate to that, I think we're okay. Right now, it's like I'm hopping around too much, but yeah. The color of the lava here. I just basically need to yeah, I don't feel like I did a good job with that at all. It's gonna help basically make this look a lot less cut out if I can integrate some of the effect of the light on the mountain. And then later on, going even further and going into the lava and creating some variation in that because it needs it. Right now it's just this sort of radioactive flat color. But even just these small amounts are making a huge difference. And I'm not trying to think too much about the form of the mountain. It's more or less arbitrary. It's more like, where does the light need to be to make sense with the lava? Getting a horrible lag. Hold on. It's always one thing or another. Or maybe I'm finally hitting the limits of what my program can reasonably allow. There's so many layers on this now. I'm surprised the file even saves. Speaking of which. I should start merging. How dare you? What do you think this is? Procreate? Yeah, I do sometimes like to live dangerously by merging my layers. The problem with that, especially on this piece, because I'm like, you know, a lot of this stuff, my tablet only gives me a handful of layers depending on the canvas size because memory RAM limits. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. When I do my storyboards are like black and white. We don't typically have a lot of layers, and yet I still overdo it and add a bunch of stuff because the reason you kind of do need layers is because if you're adding like atmospheric effects or glows or things that, you know, at that point it kind of makes sense. You know, it's not simpler if you're adding a lot of time making mistakes that you have to correct later, right? Yeah. Hold on. I don't know how you manage so many layers. I spent forever trying to figure out what's painted where when I'm navigating. It's I guess I'm a glutton for punishment, especially on this piece. Like, it is like way too much, I agree, but also like trying to push the limits of my comfort zone, right? So I mean, all these are labeled what they are, so that helps. So like mid-mountain lava, you know. This drawing, you could benefit from a foreground layer and then a mountain background layer. You know, I think I've got like 4 layers per thing, so like minimum. So like even just this stupid rock in the foreground is made of like 3 layers, all sort of doing different things. And I get that it's excessive, but it does also it gives me a lot of latitude to make changes in terms of like balance compositionally, which sort of puts me at ease because I don't have enough experience to say that this is, oh, this will work out for sure. I'm learning a lot, and I don't want to. I have limited time to put these together, so it makes sense to, for me, have some room to it's a little bit of a safety net. Yeah, exactly. And sometimes you need to draw behind something. and something that's complex. I was like, how do I draw behind that cloud? You know, that big soft cloud. How would you do that without layers? I don't know how you would do it. You know, and if you knew that if you knew that the cloud was going to be there, so you thought about it and drew from the back front, like, that always makes sense, I suppose, but, you know, there's greater minds than mine out there that solve these problems. I'm not sure what their solutions are, you know, I'm sure they have them. Now this almost looks like a snowy mountain tip, and that won't be the case as we move forward for much longer. It needs to, yeah, everyone's got their workflow. I admire your boldness, where I can tell you're just jumping in with a rough idea and just going straight to color and tone and shading and designing all at the same time. That's yeah, but I like that. That's the yeah. There's, I can't tell you how many times, like, you know, sometimes young artists would like blow into town and they'd be like, well, you know, how do you get your start? How can I get my start? And I'd be like, well, first you have to do all these things, and then when you're done doing those, you do these things, and then when you're done doing those, you get to do these things, and then you do these things, and then you do these things. And if you're ready and you've done all those things, then maybe you'll be given an opportunity to do something. And then they're like, okay. And then like the next I hear, they're like storyboarding with like some famous director, and I'm like, what? Like, you were nowhere near that sort of preparedness, but because they were just, you know, sort of impulsive, impatient, and, you know, didn't feel like waiting their turn in line. And it's like, I'm not like one of those people who are like, ooh, you're not ready and blah 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 blah. You know, if you can do the work, you can do the work. But it is it was funny to me. It was a learning lesson to me to be like, I'm a little too uptight about, you know, what I perceive as, you know, the things to be honored or whatever. It's like, yeah, some people care about that stuff, some people don't. You know, maybe they got their shot and they did a good job, maybe they didn't. Everything's unfair, it doesn't matter. That person in particular has done just fine and, you know, admirably in their career, and no problems with them. At least they came to me first. I've been having a lot of fun just throwing random paint on the canvas and seeing if it makes the drawing better or worse. Yeah, you got to experiment. Always good to, there's a, I really like to, if you can, like, sometimes creativity and boldness and randomness, they all sort of like meet at this sort of Venn diagram of where things need to be. It's crazy how that works. Creativity is sometimes rewarded. Sometimes shitty paintings are rewarded. Feeling good now about that. I mean, it's like such a complex piece. It'll probably get like 3 likes. But I think it's definitely going to get sort of saved by the no, it'll get some likes. I think if anything, there are some themes that are a little bit like, obviously it's like, if I could start all this over again, I'd probably just be doing like Zelda fan art and be like, give me the likes. But the as in like Princess Zelda fan art, but the or maybe Link fan art. Some Link fan service always seems to go over well. But I feel like that's a little cheap and not a good demonstration of the kind of work that I'm trying to learn from. Yeah. I'll do a Midna thing. I have to get like a sketch together. Yeah, no, Midna is like the what is it? I've had old girlfriends like that. Just sort of like the goth pixie princess. Like toxic. Anything for likes. She's also fun to draw. Yeah, no, she's different too. I'm all about it. I'll get into the Midna thing. It's been really cool to see. Well, there's a lot of variation in the audience. This is tricky. I don't want this to look like too liquidy. There's a lot of variation in the audience response from platform to platform. But also like a lot of consistency. So it's sort of like a chaotic pattern. Like very difficult to predict individual kinds of like this one person will definitely like or not like this. It's like very difficult to predict that. But in the totality, like you get a bird's eye view of the whole picture. It's very clear that like some themes resonate very well with audiences and some people just don't care about. And that's great for me to see as a as someone who's sort of learning what an audience might respond to. So I'm like, okay, what is it? The sketch of like the flute boy, for instance, the rough sketch I did. You know, it gets reblogged. That's cool. Seems like people are resonating with it, which is great because I knew it was good, but I want people to like it as much as I did, and then other ones that are less you know, less interested. People are less interested in them. I'm like, okay, this is, again, good to know. I maybe shouldn't chase this one down. If it's looking like people won't love it, then, you know, I don't need to make them love it. Or if I really want a challenge, I'll see if I can win them over with it. But you know, been forewarned. Proceed with caution. So it's like, after I do this one, I'm going to do the Moblin Madness one, but then I'm going to switch it up. I won't necessarily just carry on with the next one in the sequence of the original 24 that I drew. I'll probably switch it up. I'll do some verticals. I have a good idea for like a Link and Zelda vertical sketch. Yeah, no, I'm like, okay, it's time to feed the I mean, like, I'm like a sort of like, oh, I want to do what I want, but also pretty much what I want to do is get people's attention so that I can draw them to the potential of checking out more of my work, I guess. And if that's the way to do it, then that's the way to do it. I'm not gonna be like, these people don't understand my genius. It's like, okay, whatever. It's not like there's nothing new to me, you know. It's always been my job to draw for the purpose that it's intended, which is, you know, to impress a director or impress a client. So if people don't get my genius, well then, you know, then that's not what they want, you know. Do something else, genius. I'm perfectly capable of doing good ship art. I think limited quantities is my personal taste, but essentially it'll be and this has probably been done before. I would be surprised if it hadn't, but essentially it's just sort of Link and Zelda with like a, you know, lantern, basically lighting them as they're making their way through the passageway underneath under the castle. So they're sort of huddled together. There's spooky darkness and stuff all around, and danger, but, you know, they're also sort of like a tense, emotional moment. Yeah, no, I won't. There'll be it'll be all the things. Certainly people love to, yeah, they really do. It's almost, you have to scream to be heard. I'm realizing that now too. The principles of exaggeration and animation. Yeah. Yep, you gotta be bold, but you gotta be smart where you're bold also. Because if everything is bold, then that's well, it's possibly a mistake. Some people do just fine being nothing but loud, but I don't like doing that work, and that's not an audience. Like I want an audience, but I don't want an audience that I don't want. If that makes sense. If they're I mean, I can only imagine, but if I could pick, it would be the best thing to have an audience that was interested in what I wanted to do and not just stuff that makes them happy. So, distinguished gentleman. Why am I distinguished? Hey, Talbot. Felt like a great compliment. Yeah, that's me. Very distinguished. Distinguished with all the gray in my beard. This is getting close. Now, I want to do a couple more, I guess, small details here. Because now the back mountain stuff isn't killing me the way it was at the start of the stream. Let's do a quick look here. Okay, this was this morning when we started. Got a few gray hairs and look like salt and pepper in a few years. Yeah, my brother who is 7 years younger than me has lots of gray hair. Lots of gray hair. So I kind of laugh at that. All my gray hair is right here, so I can shave it off. Stress can do that, yeah. He has a different quality of hair. It's just sort of like one or the other. He the hair on my forearms and legs is like fuzzy, and his is more straight. His hair is slightly darker than mine too, but yeah, but he's got me beat because he can actually grow a full beard, and I can only grow really weird stubble that almost looks good until it gets to a certain length, and then it's like, why is it doing that? It can take time. Also, like, it's like, I don't think anybody's, well, we've all had stress, but I've definitely had more stress than my bro. Yeah, he's got stress beating his video games. All right, here we go. So this is the progress. So lava in the background, looking much more complete. This world is painful, yes. So I'm going to, just because it's looking a little bit more out of place right now, the area here needs some kind of like dynamic highlighting or something like that. it looks a little bit, yeah, the details are good. And now right here, we have a dearth of detail that sort of needs some help. There will be like atmospherics and maybe even a little motion blur. I don't know about that, but you know, there will be things that sort of cover up any mistakes or flaws on some of these boulders in the foreground that are falling. But here, this area, this little peak right here, just because there's interaction happening, I want to make sure that it doesn't look too out of place given everything else that's happening. So I'll mess with that for a bit. The rest of the year, I mean, it's so weird. So weird that there's like an entire week in production. Schedules can vary a great deal. I was kind of lucky to have a job yesterday. So very, very glad about that. But today there's probably nothing, no guarantees on anything anyway. And smudging by their hands and feet. I feel like a layer of soot or ash on the rocks if they would smudge. Interesting, yeah. You know, you're definitely bringing up a good point that I can't forget to add basically dirt and scuff. I don't typically forget it, but that'll be an especially appropriate theme for this one. Burn marks, just crap. Yeah. Kind of small. Like, I think, I mean, I don't know about you, but I've climbed several volcanoes in my day. No, just kidding. I have been to Hawaii, and they do have a very interesting and varied texture at times too. I was just noticing the blood spatter. I was like, oh man, going the full mile like always, but still, no. There's gonna be. That's a good reminder too. Like, I have to make sure that there's a interesting. Zelda isn't gory, and yet I definitely want to push that as like, if anything, I want to push that as far as like an audience will take it, but I'm not trying to do that all at once. I feel like the people can handle it. Don't want too much distracting here, but it needs something. So I'm just going to mess around with it. So all that is to say, there may be, there might be a good opportunity for some good streaming today. My kids aren't in school, so I'm going to take them over to my parents' house for a little bit, where they can make a mess and have fun, and there's no issues. And then while I'm over there, probably do a stream. We'll see. Well, people think splatter is instant, but unless whatever hits you is high velocity, it flings the blood itself. Blood doesn't just go flying. It's video games dramatize blood a lot. Yeah. Well, I'm in the yeah, I'm sort of in the cinematic universe of like the 80s and action movies of the 80s and 90s where, you know, you get the hero like shoots people with two Uzis and like it's just like 1,000 blood packs exploding on their chest, and then they go flying through the wall behind them and stuff like that. Very kind of that's my base level. So like, do you ever see Commando? Like Arnold just unloading on these guys, and they're like, ooh, and then they jump back. They do need to bring that back. Yes, they do. Because there's too much being like, oh, well, that's not realistic. It's like, nobody fucking wants realistic. We're here to escape, man. I don't know if nobody wants it. It's interesting to see the realism, but now having sort of seen, I'm like, oh, look at this. This is real. They're going in like SEAL Team 6 style. I think what happened, it was fucking Michael Mann made Heat. Have you ever seen that film? Good film. And he did it right. It's a very realistic-ish depiction of a high-stakes bank robbery that like an incredible super tense film, super amazing actors and characters. Michael Mann's like my favorite director. Yeah, it was humorous. It wasn't, no one thought it was realistic. That's not what anybody ever thought. Like, it's so, like, the violence is too real. It's like, no, it's like a cartoon at that point. I'm talking about Commando, not Heat. But also that movie, the original Total Recall, just had blood splurting out everywhere. Blood. People were just like squishy sponges of blood. But again, it was like a fantasy. I think it depends on what it's being sold as. If you're trying to make me, selling me a movie, trying to make it as realistic as possible, go for realism. If it's just shoot 'em up in the high internal action, then give me dramatics. It's all about, yeah, tone and mood and whatever. There's that movie Django Unchained, that Quentin Tarantino flick, and that had some very like over the top blood, gushy blood violence, and or of course Kill Bill, you know, same thing. I can't stand Kill Bill, but that's a separate story. I don't know why I'm like the one person who doesn't like Kill Bill, but I don't. I like Quentin Tarantino a lot too, but the blood spray over the cotton, it's iconic. If any of this is looking good, the stuff that I'm adding here to the mountain, but it should help create a little variation. That'll sort of help the eyes sort of be okay with whatever is happening in there. think as long as it looks like painful rocks to climb on, I think that's the intention. Lava rocks can look like all sorts of different things.
This thing is powerful.
Obsidian, and then whatever, like crazy basaltic. I don't know. It kind of depends, like where, like how the lava was melted in the first place, what rock it was made of, the conditions in the volcano when it exploded, whether or not it hits seawater when it cools. Chatter Miojo says, "Hello, I don't participate in the chat because my English isn't good, but I just wanted to say that I really love your art. Keep up the good work." And that's nice to say. Your English sounds great, but I'm reading it in my Los Angeles accent, so anyway, don't be shy, but thanks for introducing yourself, and yeah, lurkers are welcome. There's no shame in hanging out. I have some help with Google Translate. Great. Perfect use of the technology. Can you understand me? Are you using Google to translate me or translate yourself? Oh, okay. All right. It's because I talk like I'm from Hollywood. I appreciate you chiming in with the support. I appreciate that. Well, that is the great thing about art is, and video games, is that we have a visual common language. Okay, here's a question for myself, but also anybody can answer. What should I do with the sky? Video games help me a lot with English. Oh, good. I've heard that some people are, especially retro gaming, very interested in going back and learning. Often the English translation of video games is very poorly done, and so some gamers are teaching themselves to read Japanese, for instance, so that they can get that more direct experience or whatever was intended. Well, you can feel free to learn Californian English from me, if you feel like it. Alright, what am I going to do with this sky? I really don't want to do anything. But I might add a little bit of variation. I did something bad with the sky, in that I had the cloud, this sort of circular cloud thing, on the same layer as the gradient for the sky. As Sexter would say, I merged. I pulled a merge. And I regret it. Hold on, I think I hear something. Oh, my son is fussing. Hold on. Here, hang out a second, if we all could, please. Let me poke my head around the corner and make sure things are okay. Good. All right. Okay, so nothing bad happened, everything is good, but also now my whole family's awake and it's time for me to tend to some fatherly duties. So I'm gonna do that. I love the progress on this so far. It frankly looks like it's almost done, and I love it. And I'm just going to be some small things. Thankfully, it's all small things from here. It is a matter of adding some scuff details, some particles, some atmosphere. These are all very quick, final finishing details. A little bit of fine-tuning, pushing and pulling. This could be done today. If work is quiet and I expect it to be, we'll see. However, if work is busy, that's a blessing too, because I need the money. But we will be ready for whatever happens. Anyway, this is looking good. Let me do a quick thumbnail. I appreciate everybody having some kind things to say. Encouragements. That lava's looking cool now. Look at that. It's like ready for a... It's like, you need me for your cool video game project. Something funny like that. All right, very good. All right, to everybody, thank you. And don't be surprised if I'm on later. And if I am, I hope to see you there. All right, catch you next time. And thank you. All right, bye-bye.